Hello, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys have been following me for a little while and you've seen my other Q&A videos, then you guys know I love a good Q&A. Today, we're just hanging out in the kitchen. I just made a fresh cup of coffee. I've got plenty of questions to answer, so let's get chatting. First question. Before BJJ, was there any type of fitness activity you were super into? For example, bouldering, yoga, boxing, etc. Definitely not bouldering, I'll tell you that right now. I've tried yoga so many times and I hate it. I cannot get into it. I cannot stand it. I tried to be consistent with it for a little while when I was having back and neck issues, and I can't do it. I did do boxing for a hot second when I realized that I didn't like Jiu Jitsu, so I tried to box a little bit and then I got back into Jiu Jitsu. The only thing that I really did before Jiu Jitsu was lifting. I actually, for a second, thought that I wanted to be a competitor. I'm very happy that I didn't go that route. I played sports all my life. Soccer was always the main thing, but really it was just lifting before Jiu Jitsu. The next question is about not getting down about Jiu Jitsu injuries. She says, it seems like I'm always dealing with something. I have been there. I have definitely said to myself, I am tired of always feeling like I'm dealing with an injury. There's always something. I do think that was a little bit more towards like the white belt days when I was more of a beginner and these freak accidents just always seemed to happen. But even when I was a blue belt and I was having neck issues, I was having lower back issues, it just kind of always felt like something was going on. I can completely understand getting down about it because it stinks when you always feel like something's in pain and you just want to train hard, you just want to train all the time. I would just say definitely address the injuries. Don't just kind of leave them nagging, because then they'll never truly heal and they'll always be nagging. Take some time off if you need to. I know it stinks, but sometimes our bodies just need to rest, and maybe a week or two off the mat will do your body some good. I'm also going to use this opportunity to plug in my husband here. He is a functional patterns practitioner, and the best way that I kind of know how to describe it is it's kind of a crossover between personal training and physical therapy. He helps a lot of people with different pains and different aches that they have. So if you do have some injuries that you want to work on and you still want to feel good and you want to be able to train jiu-jitsu, I'm going to leave his Instagram down below and you can reach out to him and see if maybe he can help you. Next question. Will I forever have bruises? If so, are there any remedies? I feel like all of the crazy bruising was more so towards the beginning of my jiu-jitsu journey. I just feel like your body isn't prepared or used to like all of this impact that jiu-jitsu gives you. I remember my first summer of doing jiu-jitsu, I was embarrassed to wear shorts and dresses because my legs were just covered in bruises and I just thought it looked so disgusting and I was really embarrassed. My body definitely doesn't bruise like that anymore. I'll still get the occasional bruising if there's like a big impact of some sort, but all of the fingerprint bruises and just bruises all over the place, they don't really happen anymore, so I think my body has just gotten used to it. So there is that to look forward to. I also know that arnica is really good for bruises and that's what I used to use. I don't actually know if it helped, but supposedly it's supposed to. Why do I see higher belts not wear mouth guards when rolling and in competition? I have no idea. I cannot roll without my mouthpiece. When I was a white belt, I never used to wear a mouthpiece, and then one time when I was just warming up with Todd, my husband, I chipped my tooth. My front freaking tooth, I chipped. And ever since then, I will not roll without a mouthpiece. To me, it's just not worth it. As far as higher belts not caring, I don't really know. I think maybe they're just confident that nothing will happen. I think maybe they just don't care if something does happen. Todd never wears a mouthpiece. He does have quite a few teeth that are chipped and he could care less. So I don't know. I think it's either confidence or just simply not caring. Next question. Tips on teaching beginners jiu-jitsu. I think this is a really good question. I think that if you can master teaching kids and teaching beginners, I think it's really rewarding. And I think that it'll make it a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but it'll just kind of guide you and help you down the line if you start teaching more advanced people or more advanced techniques. One thing that's really helpful is break down the move as much as possible. You really want to dumb down the move. Take it step by step. There's so much information and so much detail, even in the really beginner movements. So break it down. Show maybe one part of the movement, have them practice, show the next step, so on and so forth, versus showing the whole thing, and to a beginner that can be really overwhelming. Something that's really helped me with teaching beginners and teaching kids is taking the fundamentals class at my gym. If your gym has a class like that where it's geared towards beginners, take it. Even if you're an upper belt, it's going to be really, really helpful. Not only for your own jiu-jitsu, but specifically for teaching it. I can't count how many times I've used what my coaches taught in the fundamentals in my lesson maybe the next day. All of the really tiny details in a beginner movement might be sort of brushed over in the advanced class, and it's really important to know those details and to be able to explain them to a beginner. In a fundamentals class, your coach might also use little tips and tricks to help people understand a really basic movement a little bit better. They can kind of make it a little bit more relatable to something else so that they can process it. For example, when you teach someone a gable grip, having them understand like how to place their hands without their thumbs, they may not just understand how to do it right away. But something that we tell the kids, and then even when I teach a very beginner, I tell them this too. You start with prayer hands, you rotate, you keep your thumbs attached, and then you close. Anyone can do that, right? Anyone can understand that. Beginners might not also be able to do a lot of things. Well, no, might is not the word. They won't be able to do a lot of things that more advanced practitioners can do. So we have to add in those extra steps that allow them to do it. For example, in the fundamentals class the other day, my coach was showing how to stand up in close guard and how to open and pass. The way that he taught it that day was you trap an arm, and then on the same side you step up, and then you step up with the other leg. Now, to someone who's just starting, they probably won't be able to just stand up, right? It's not that easy if someone has a really tight close guard. So you have to add in the details of shifting your weight to one side, shifting your weight to the other side, maybe shifting again, and that allows you to create some space to get your foot out from underneath you and stand up. To someone who's been practicing jiu-jitsu for a little while, probably already has that ingrained in them. Their body understands how to do that. To someone who's never practiced before, they'll probably feel stuck. They probably just won't understand. Their body won't understand how to stand up when they're in that kind of position. So you have to add in those little extra details that are going to help them do the movement correctly. So long story short for that one, you want to break down the move as much as you can. You really want to dumb it down. And then you also want to try to get in on those beginner classes at your gym because they will be so helpful. And what you learn in those classes, you can easily translate into your lessons when you teach beginners. Next question, how do you balance the different roles and businesses that you have? I feel like I don't. I mean, I do, but it's a constant work in progress. For those of you who don't know, I do a bunch of different things. I run this YouTube channel. I work for Alchemized Fightwear. I'm an instructor at my gym, and I'm also a makeup artist. So most of the time, my days look very different with different things that I have to do. Some parts of my day are usually the same, like when I have to teach at my gym, but different things can pop up out of nowhere, and luckily, I'm very flexible, so I can make changes to my schedule if I need to, but something that's very helpful is I plan out my week and I plan out my days at the beginning of the week. I can't just wake up every day and wonder what I'm gonna do. It has to be planned out or else stuff might not get done that has to get done. And I have to make sure that I put energy into everything that I'm trying to do, and that's usually something that I struggle with where maybe I'm putting more time or more energy into one thing and not enough into something else. And that's something that I get down on myself about, but I'm just trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? So me personally, I plan out my week in the calendar on my phone, and then every day the things that I have to do, I write down in my notebook. Then I'm able to highlight things and check things off when I'm done, and then I feel accomplished. I'm also always working. Balance is tough. The balance of working on all of these different projects and avenues, balance is hard, but I just find, like I said, planning things out ahead of time, writing things down, checking things off, that makes me feel accomplished. That makes me feel like I'm getting something done. I think at the end of the day, you work hard and you do the best that you can. What are your biggest tips for someone looking to eat better for jiu-jitsu training? Meal prep. Meal prep, meal prep, meal prep. Plan out your meals at the beginning of the week. Plan out when you're going to go to jiu-jitsu and try to make some meals ahead of time. The worst thing that we can do as jiu-jitsu athletes, as jiu-jitsu practitioners, is train not have food prepared and then just snack on random stuff and never actually getting a good, full, nutritious meal either before or after training. Do your best to balance out your meals. You want to make sure you get protein in every meal. You want to make sure you get a carb in every meal, and you want to make sure that you're also getting in plenty of fat in every meal. Having those balanced meals is going to keep you feeling full, it's going to keep you feeling satisfied, and it's going to keep you feeling energized for all of the training that we do. How do you train BJJ with a new ear piercing? I don't. I have a lot of piercings and I have not gotten any new ones since I've done Jiu Jitsu, sadly. At one point, I feel like I was getting new piercings every couple of months. I was addicted. I loved piercings, and I still do, but I don't think that you can really smartly train jujitsu with a new piercing. People do. People tape it, and I'm sure there are plenty of people that have had just experiences that were fine with training and rolling with a new piercing. I just personally wouldn't feel comfortable. I think it leaves you open to infection. I think it leaves you open to just pain and discomfort. So in my personal opinion, I think if you want to get a new piercing, plan to take a little bit of time off to allow the piercing to heal. Do you recommend supplements? I started taking glutamine to recover faster from my BJJ trainings. You know, I don't have any supplements to recommend. I am not currently taking any supplements. I don't take any vitamins anymore. I've really just been focusing on my diet, making sure I have a well-rounded diet so that I can get all of my nutrients from the food that I eat. I eat a lot of eggs, I eat a lot of meat, I eat a lot of fruit, I throw vegetables in there, I'll get the starchier carbs in there, and then if you guys have watched any of my eating videos before, then you know I am such an advocate for raw milk. I think raw milk is just this golden treasure that no one knows about, and it's so incredibly beneficial for you. My mindset around supplements and around vitamins is, you really have to be careful with these synthetic things that you're putting in your body. Sometimes when you're taking too much of something, it can really throw off other things and other levels in your body. My best advice is maybe talk to a professional, but you also have to be careful with these professionals that you talk to these days because people are just trying to sell you stuff. I am so anti-pharmaceutical companies and all of these vitamin companies. I think the safest bet, I think that the healthiest bet is to try to get all of the nutrients, all of the vitamins, all of the good things that are going to give you energy and things to recover through your diet. So just be careful with all the supplements, try to find a professional that you trust, and most importantly, really try to work on your diet so that you get all of these good things from the food you eat. I think I'm going to stop there. I've answered a bunch of questions. I have a bunch more to go, but I don't want to make this video too long, so maybe next week I'll do sort of like a part 2 or just another Q&A video and I'll answer the rest of the questions. I promise if you're watching this from Instagram and you sent me a question, it will get answered. It just might be next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And until the next video, I will see you guys next time.